So today we have an absolutely huge leak about the future of Cyberpunk as a franchise. We're talking about, yes, online heist, because Dataminers have discovered some really cool multiplayer details about Cyberpunk 2077. As you can see right here, it says plausible Cyberpunk 2077 multiplayer details leaked by Dataminers, and this is information that is supposedly found directly in Cyberpunk 2077. So a lot of cool stuff to go over. Then in this video, I'm going to be talking about what to officially expect from multiplayer and what CD Projekt RED has actually stated officially about Cyberpunk's multiplayer, including, yes, microtransactions. So we got a lot to discuss. Hey everyone, what's happening? Overworld Games here. Hope you're doing good, and let's dive straight into the news. Remember, I'm going to go over your top comments. Always leave a comment. I love reading what you guys have to say, but let's do this. It says right here, it appears that the first details for Cyberpunk 2077's upcoming multiplayer game have been leaked via Dataminers. The following information is from the game's executable file, so this is the real deal. Everyone can access it, and we can confirm that what you are about to read is legit. However, do note that things may change, as Cyberpunk 2077's multiplayer won't be coming out anytime soon. Yeah, it's going to take years. It says, our source wanted to stay anonymous, so we'll respect his or her decision. Still, you can easily verify the following information yourselves by examining the game's executable file. The game's executable file so far has two distinct multiplayer game modes. The first one is called Heists, whereas the second one is a simple deathmatch. The heist mode seems to function closer to standard single-player quests, along with dedicated functions with editor helper descriptions such as set heist state, set spawn point tag that will be used to spawn new players during the mission, and spawn tag percentage. Now we're going to go over the additional related functions and multiplayer heist functions in just a moment, but let's talk about this for a second here. So it looks like this is like leftover code, in my opinion, from what is going to be a fully functional AAA standalone Cyberpunk multiplayer experience, as confirmed by CD Projekt RED. It almost sounds like to me they were wanting to perhaps release Cyberpunk 2077 as both a single player and multiplayer experience originally, and then they realized they couldn't, that hey, it would be better just to release a single player experience and then release multiplayer as a standalone experience as well. So that's definitely interesting and could have also influenced how this game was developed as well. So that could also tell us that, hey, this is why the game released in the state it did. So that's just my theory, but that's just a theory. But let's talk about the heist functions right now and exactly what this heist mode is. It says here, Cyberpunk 2077 multiplayer heist functions. It says debug message name changed. You can ready up, of course. And then there's character classes. It may imply multiplayer is focused on more strict character class selection system right here. And then, of course, join left the heist. But here are the classes. Solo, Assassin, Netrunner, and Techie appeared to be the classes they were going with, at least when they were developing this right here. And then from here, it almost seems like there's some sort of customization with your characters. At least they had a default character selected. I imagine they would want more customization for your characters as well, because you know what? We're going to be talking about microtransactions here in just a second. So yeah, that's going to be a thing with multiplayer that has been confirmed. Then it does mention how there's respawn timers and things like that. And then you get, you know, match and game finished and waiting for players as well. And then it does warn about duplicate characters detected. So error messages that you probably would hopefully not see in your experience with Heist. But it says players in the gather area, which is interesting because it could mean that there could be like a hub space for these heists before you actually go in. And you know, Grand Theft Auto Online has this sort of thing as well, where you can gather in the apartment or your high-rise building or whatever and discuss the heist going forward. So maybe there's actually like a heist gathering area where you could discuss the plan and go over stuff, or just goof off, whatever. So it seems like they're trying to go after GTA Online, in my opinion, in some way with what they're going to be doing with Cyberpunk 2077 online multiplayer. Now, there's also this. This is minor stuff. Debug scoreboard. Here you've got player name, kills, death, status, ping. Of course, all that good stuff. Now, regarding the deathmatch mode, here are some of its functions. It says Cyberpunk 2077 multiplayer deathmatch functions. You could join the map, kill, and it says you sent yourself directly to hell. Please don't come back. So these are some of the taunts and things that I believe would be said by your character as well. So you can see right here. And then shot destroyed your body and soul. Interesting. Bullet was stronger than your head. So yeah, there's team deathmatch. It says furthermore, the game may rely on peer-to-peer connections and may not have dedicated servers. Going by the scraps, it seems that the game targets purely peer-to-peer connections with some host authority. Again, things may change. We are not saying that Cyberpunk 2077 won't have dedicated servers. However, the executable file currently hints at peer-to-peer connection. That would really be a bummer. Of course, you want dedicated servers no matter what. But hey, if it's like co-op, it won't matter as much. Once you get into PvP and team deathmatch stuff, then it begins to really matter. Now, of course, they did say this. CD Projekt RED is currently working on that first free DLC for Cyberpunk 2077, and they are working on the patches as well, and these will be coming out in early 2021. They also debunked the recent rumors about development troubles with the game's post-launch support. So yeah, things hopefully are still going with the DLC and that post-launch content, so that would be good. But, you know, what do we know officially from CD Projekt RED, beyond the leaks, beyond the rumors about Cyberpunk multiplayer? So, more recently, this is what has been said. Cyberpunk 2077 microtransactions are only in multiplayer, CD Projekt RED says. So yeah, there are going to be microtransactions in multiplayer, unfortunately, and that really does suck. GTA Online does it. Let me know what you make of this. There are ways to do, of course, microtransactions that are not going to be too overbearing. But yeah, this is kind of, for me, a little bit of a red flag. It seems like that they are going to want to make a GTA Online, like in the future. That's just what they want to do in the long-term run of things. So, it says here, in an earnings call report published earlier this month, CD Projekt RED President Adam Kaczynski confirmed that the multiplayer side of Cyberpunk 2077 will have microtransactions, but emphasized that the company won't be aggressive with their implementation. Kaczynski said the developer wants to create a feeling of value by turning its microtransactions to make players happy to spend money. Woohoo! Yeah, I think I just want good single player. You know what I'm saying. I know a lot of you do too. We'll go in the top comments of my recent video where I asked you guys what you want, single player or multiplayer content. A lot of you guys want that single player content, you know, the DLC. Red Dead Redemption 2 completely failed at that. GTA 5 failed at that. And, you know, these companies listen to the money. It's just a fact. So, it says here, nothing changed. Cyberpunk 2077 is a single player game with 0 microtransactions, only one single purchase, no tricks. Don't believe the clickbait. Whoa, what happened? But anyway, it goes on to say here, Cyberpunk Multiplayer Online, which is a separate project, will have some microtransactions, but we said that a year ago already. Like always, expect us treating your money with respect. This was posted September 7th, 2020. A lot of people will probably roll their eyes at that one, considering how the game actually released in the state it was released in. So, you know, we'll see what happens. I'll keep you up to date about Cyberpunk 2077 multiplayer. I definitely want to try it. Don't get me wrong. Like, part of me is super excited about it, and then part of me is very guarded about what they're going to try to do with the microtransactions, you know? We've seen this company say one thing and do another. So, yeah, that's my biggest concern right now, for sure, with the current situation with Cyberpunk 2077 multiplayer. But we got another update right here as well. This is more of a current update. It says CD Projekt RED offers update on Cyberpunk 2077's multiplayer expansion. It goes on to say this: at the moment, please let us handle the situation and please let us make some more assessments. Multiplayer is still ahead of us. We don't know yet, and we're now focused on improving Cyberpunk. We'll discuss this early next year, which is 2021. It's here. They're going to be discussing multiplayer soon enough. About multiplayer, first and foremost, we haven't declared any date yet, and as I said before, it's hard to judge now. We're in a situation which hasn't been planned, and we'll have to reassess where we are, and that's the plan for January. So now we are managing the situation of the single player and we are working on patches and communication, and to refocus on gamers, we have to sit and discuss. So multiplayer right now is pretty much on the back burner. Sounds like it's going to be happening, that is going to be a focus, and from what I understand, it's a separate team from their DLC teams on Cyberpunk 2077. They have a team for the single player stuff, the DLC that's coming up, the free DLC, and then they have an entire dedicated team for the multiplayer. My biggest worry with this is I hope that they're not trying to do like a situation that they did with DICE and Battlefield and Star Wars Battlefront by spreading the team too thin. I absolutely hate when that happens. It overworks people and the project doesn't end up being what was advertised. So that's a big thing that I hope that is not happening with Cyberpunk multiplayer. But now it's time for your top comments. Let's do this. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up in a future video. This was the recent video I did. It was called Terrible News for CD Projekt RED. Future patches require review and oversight. So it seems like there's like a legal committee in Poland that has stepped in. They're going to be overseeing what CD Projekt RED is going to be doing in the future and making sure that what they say lives up to whatever they actually do. You know what I'm saying? So we got some comments from you guys right here. From David, who says, can we get this kind of aggression on gambling loot boxes? Yeah, honestly, I don't know if any games recently, let me know if I'm wrong about this, have pursued loot boxes because of the legal issues that have happened in other countries. So maybe I'm wrong about that, but I feel like loot boxes immediately hurt a game nowadays. If you advertise your game's going to have loot boxes, that could be the death of the game right there. All right, Grandmaster of Win says, if when CD Projekt RED gets through this, it'll be the hardest lesson they've ever had to learn. I hope this all gets sorted out because I really do love their games. And then Alex TV says, kind of feel like Hanako is going to be waiting for a really long time. The Irrelevant Species says, the fact that governments are stepping in at all just shows how far the video game industry has fallen. I hope other studios and publishers learn from this, but given all the other crap storms before this, will they? That's what I thought. Like, I thought, but by now, you know, these game developers and publishers would learn. Oblivion Gaming says, when legal action enforces good quality patches, you know it's getting real. Hell yes. Never Too Old Gaming says, why is this a bad thing? There was once a time when patches were a quality review before release. That was normal. Patches being released unreviewed is not. No idea who in their right mind would have a problem with this. 202 upvote. So a lot of you guys are actually for the legal oversight for these patches. So yeah, that's good to see. But again, it could slow down the process of patches releasing, but hey, we want patches that don't further break the game. And there have been games in the past where they release a patch and it further breaks the game, which is some BS. So this is why this is being done, to make sure that it lives up to quality expectations. But thank you all so much for the love and support on the videos. Look out for more Cyberpunk 2077 news. And I will see you next time. Take care.